Yep.
Okay, we'll call the Transportation Advisory Committee meeting to call the meeting to order, sorry. Approval of the last June 11th meeting.
Make a motion to accept.
First and second, thank you. Some of the things we're going to be talking about today is the result of our no, low, and no emission grant program. We were awarded, was that about 2 weeks ago, Ann, that we got word that we'll be getting the 2 propane buses, and the infrastructure will be included with that at no cost. And that will be for the Herman Express program. So we were pretty excited about that, because obviously we decided against going with the electric buses since the buses weren't going to be able to perform very well. So that'll be a timeline I'm not sure of. We were just awarded, and so there's some things to work through for that that we'll be working on, where to put up the infrastructure for that. Which kind of leads us into our next update. And maybe, Scott, you can speak to this again about the Elixir building or a future home for us. You know,
There hasn't been any
further discussion.
we've done no further
Okay.
even so at this point.
Okay,
The last time we discussed anything, we just said, you know, there's space in the back there that's basically very low heat or whatever
Right.
in there. And we talked about the highway department might have some
Op-
need there, that we would put that in there temporarily or
sure,
whatever.
sure.
So, but yeah, there hasn't been any, I think more than anything, we've been waiting to know, are we going to get propane buses or not? Or,
Yeah, yeah.
you know,
Because I got word the other day I need to come up with a plan of where I want to put the infrastructure for the propane buses, and I'm kind of leery on where to do that at, since the highway department is kind of in flux too with what they could possibly doing in the future. So I'm kind of leaning towards going with a temporary storage, where it'd be more of a movable tank. You know, wouldn't be anything that would, you know, we could move it in the future, which is something they said they could do. So
I'm not familiar with that, I guess. So
it'd be more like a house.
going through a considerable amount of propane.
Right, yeah, yeah, it would be quite a large tank, and they'd probably have to build some sort of retaining wall around it too, you know, so nobody would run into it, but I'm not sure if we'd want to do that at the highway department or where we'd, it's
That might
probably,
be a logical place, I guess, but we haven't discussed that.
right,
So
yeah, so we'll have to,
I would imagine there's room probably behind the Elixir building in the back part back there too. That
right, if that's what we want to do,
there,
yeah, yeah.
but if it's portable, we could put it and take it out down the road if we needed to. And
Yeah, maybe it would something. Would you like me to get it like on the agenda for the commissioners, and
yeah, we maybe should.
maybe have some discussion about it with Sam, and so maybe we can work on that and then and see what comes. But you know, they would like a decision, you know, sooner rather than later, because when they put in the application, they have to do sites. You know, have to have site stuff, and so.
What kind of timeline are we looking at for this whole process?
I asked him about that, and he wasn't real clear. He said, you know, it's not like a today or tomorrow thing, but I would say probably I would want to know something by February, if possible. That word just came to me yesterday, so I thought, well, as long as we're having the meeting, I would just discuss it in an open forum with you. So,
February shouldn't be a problem. I've come up with.
yeah,
Do you think that it makes more sense to try and get it squeezed into a meeting in December or a meeting at the end of January?
I think we
Just-
can do January if
Okay.
if you guys,
Yep.
that gives us some time to kind
Do you
of,
think that it would be needed to have somebody come and just kind of look at both locations, or do you feel like it's not necessary? And
yeah, I mean, I think it's the most important part probably is just for us to decide, and then at that point, move forward, you
Gotcha.
know,
okay,
so,
Have to make sure, you know, follow safety regulations and all that kind of thing. So
right, yep, for sure, so. So the next item is Sarah Berg update, and we'll wait on her to get here. One of the things that got brought up by Greg Peterson was that the National Guard members aren't able to ride for free. We do offer free rides for the veterans, but National Guard members don't fall under that. So Greg asked that we bring this to you guys to see if it was something you guys would be interested in doing. If you would be, he would have to give National Guard members a card, because right now a guardsman doesn't have any proof that they were in the Guards. So again, it would be a free ride. If it's something you want to table, and maybe we take up at the next meeting, but he did approach me. Remember, was that shortly after our last meeting, within a couple of months? So
Wonder what kind of numbers we'd be looking at with that.
it's probably not huge, to be
It's
honest
just
with you.
it, in my opinion, too. And I mean, these are veterans that served. I would personally be comfortable with it, but
Yeah.
I don't know where the rest of the board sits.
I think given the volume, it probably isn't
Mm-hmm.
too much, but
Does the city have any thoughts on it, Joe, or are you?
No concerns.
Okay. It's something we want to move forward with then, and I can let Greg know that
I think so.
any National Guards
agree,
member
that's
can show up and get a card from him, and he can maybe promote it a little bit too. Thank you for that. The holiday hours, we will be closing at noon on Christmas Eve. Though it is a all-day county holiday, we do run the Heartland and Herman till noon that day, and then close Christmas Day and New Year's Day. And then I'm going to leave the Emerson bench idea for Sarah, because she's kind of been dealing with that a little bit more than I have. The additional advertising for Herman Express, our numbers have been pretty decent. We've never really done any radio advertising or anything. Wondering if that is anything that the board or the commission would be opposed to doing some extra advertising. We do have it in our budget, but, again, that would be a Herman Express expense. So I'm wondering if the commission would like to explore that option, or it's in the wintertime, our ridership does kind of decrease more than it does, during the nicer months of the year. So
I think radio ad would be pretty fair. I think that would get to a lot of our riders, or people that would be potential riders. Wonder what we'd be looking at for costs or whatnot.
Right. And we wouldn't have to go real crazy with it, just maybe do a little blitz for a couple of, months or a couple of weeks and see what we
that'd be
find
fair.
out. Yeah.
what about any newspaper? Do you think it's worth it in the newspaper too, or not necessarily?
I don't know. Print ad is difficult nowadays.
Okay.
Who it's getting to, can you tell if it's getting to them?
Yeah.
We are in the-
Facebook is always
we do
always
have
king,
a
but
and we have a Facebook
as weird as that
page.
is, yeah.
Yeah. We are in the community, the one that goes out for visitors. It has the map in there, so, I'm not sure how much visitors use it, but, it's the nice thing
exists.
in there, it's in there throughout the whole year. It's not just a one and done thing, so.
I don't know what a billboard would cost, but that seems to me that would maybe be effective, that
Never thought about that.
they're riding, whatever, and,
Right.
it would be up for some time.
Let me add that to my,
You guys have billboards?
yeah.
1,200
there's-
to 2,000 is what I've seen for some bids, so they're pretty high depending on location.
Okay.
Do you guys do any with
We
Minnesota
don't, but
Valley? No.
I work with Sarah a lot on that, but
Okay, yeah, we can look into that. Thank you, Commissioner. As long as Sarah is here and she's ready to go, maybe, you want to kind of take over? We kind of discussed, we went past you already.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so the ridership again, just starting out here in the month of December, it's been a little lower than the past couple months, but surprisingly this morning, people were out. So, Can't always base it on weather, I guess. Anyway, since our last meeting, we did increase every month, 479 in June, 579 in July, 514 in August, 621 in September, and then on October, we had 707, so that's our highest month so far. And then 580 in November, so compared to last year at this time, we're up 1,054 rides. So more rides this year than the same time frame last year, January to end of November.
How many rides were last month?
Last month, in November, 580.
When was 700?
October. Yep.
And November probably is lower because we were closed 4 days for the Thanksgiving holiday.
Yes.
Well, 3 days for you.
3
but-
days. And so far, this month, we've given 167 rides as of yesterday.
Nice.
Let's see. Staffing, you probably touched on that too, but we're continuing to train the newly hired Heartland drivers for Herman Express, so just the issue we run into with that, and these drivers have said it, is, okay, you train us and then we don't do it, or you don't need us, and then all of a sudden, so then it's like kind of retrain or at least go another couple loops with us, just so they get familiar with it, but at least we're getting that initial training in for them, so that's been positive too. Did you touch on the bench
We
update
did
then?
not. We wanted to leave that for you, Sarah.
Okay, so with the Emerson Union bench update, I had submitted the funding request to the Optimist Club, and then some things came up and we weren't able to resolve them in a timely manner. So unfortunately, I sent an email back to the Optimist Club. Thank you very much for being willing to fund us, but at this time I can't get the bill ready by the time you need it. So I asked them to go ahead, spend the money where they see fit, and then I would, when we get to resolving all the issues that we had, I would resubmit our request. And they were very appreciative that at least we kept the lines open, and said, yep, they certainly would take a look at it again when that happens. So,
Expand on what the issues were, maybe. There was.
So we didn't discuss enough with the city who was putting it in and the placement of it. And so then when it came time where we thought we would be able to do it, then they kind of backed up a little bit and said, well, where do you want to put it? And the city didn't want the responsibility, or you'd have to do a easement. Was that right, Joe?
Yeah, Mr. Chair and commission members, the issue is city forces can't install public infrastructure on private property. So that was the issue we ran into, where the location that was picked was on Emerson Union property, and without an easement, we can't, as a city, install that infrastructure. So if it was placed within the right-of-way, we could work through that, but on private property, it would either need to be a private contractor installing it, or without some easement documentation allowing city forces on that property to do the install, we had to just say we weren't able to do it, so.
And then in talking with Emerson Union, just trying to figure out the spots where we thought it would work well, and then they weren't sure, and I don't know where the exact property lines were right away, so, yeah. And then it just, like I said, between having to have a bill submitted to the Optimist Club, by the end of September, and then going into the winter months, we just said, let's just put this on hold for right now, so that's what happened. I did get Bob Beck with the New Ulm Bike Group did reach out to me asking about bike parking stands at each of our stops, if they would be needed at our bus stops. And at this time, I told him, as far as I know, I haven't had anybody ride their bike to a bus stop and then want to park it. But at least that contact that he reached out to us and the New Ulm Bike Group, they would be willing to fund that, from what I understand. And so when I shared that with Pat, we said, well, that's something, you know, when we start looking at putting the different shelters in, that then that's maybe something we could, you know, go back to them with too, so. But at least that they reached out, I thought that was very, very nice of them to do that.
You'd have to, you know, do some kind of a load unload on a bus too to haul that bike around here.
Well, and it wasn't for that reason. It was just simply that, you know, somebody just rides a bike to the bike stop and they wanted one of those, like you see the Heart of New Ulm, where they could then, you know, lock their bike to that until they came back around to pick it up, so.
Kind of the last mile thing they talk about. So maybe they live 6 blocks away. They'd ride their bike to the stop, lock their bike up, and then when the bus dropped them back off, they'd be able to go back home. So
I, on the other hand, had someone reach out to me asking why they don't have bike racks on the buses. So the exact same thing he was asking or mentioning was that there potentially could be more riders if they knew that they could bring their bike with them. But we've never seen that, but we've never offered it. So it's hard to tell if it would be used or not.
yeah, and the problem with a bike rack on a bus like those is that in order to check the oil, you have to basically take the entire rack off every time, and you have to crawl up on that rack to check the oil. So it becomes, and then
That sounds awful.
yeah, and it's and also when you turn, you got to count for that extra feet on the bus as you're making the turns, and a lot of systems. Big buses are fine because they're nothing they need to do, but small buses are. It's a real kind of a pain to do that. I mean, I think it could be useful, but I think it'd be more of a hindrance, you know, for the amount of riders we'd possibly
And
get.
timing too.
Bike too, you know.
Yeah.
And then they have to put the bike on, and you know, and then if they don't do it correctly and we run it over, or you know, then it's our responsibility. So that's where the bike rack issue is.
So regular bike racks would be a more realistic thing to pursue, just at the stops.
Right.
Very good.
Did you, I'm looking, farmer's market?
No, go ahead.
So with farmer's market for the first year, I think things I feel that things went well once we figured out the load and unload spot for Heartland Express. Herman provided 21 subsidized rides and Heartland provided 9 subsidized rides. And my personal feeling is it's worth trying again if the chamber has the funding, is able to get that funding again. And when I reached out to May at the chamber, she did feel the same, that she felt it would be worth trying again as long as the funding can be secured. So we'll see when the new year rolls around. Herman Express made it into the Parade of Lights again and had the opportunity to do a little more decorating, so that was fun, more lights and some big stockings on the side, so people seem to appreciate seeing us. And then as far as that, I think, because you talked about the propane buses, right?
Yep, I did.
Okay,
Yep.
all right.
Moving along then, the funding for 2026 will be again a 10% match like it was this year. The state is asking us to prepare for going up to 15% after 26. So just something that we'll have to keep reminding ourselves that we do have that match there and that the city is responsible for anything over that the match doesn't allow. So that's just something to keep in mind. Some other discussion, if, has anyone got anything? I know, Tom, you just got here. We can fill you in after the meeting about the
Thought it
bench.
started at 1:30,
Oh,
and I haven't gotten any notices.
okay.
So,
We'll make sure that you get on there. Lisa usually sends out the agenda like I think it went out late last week, didn't it?
Yeah.
So,
I'm off the list. Am I off the committee? Maybe?
No, you're not. No, you're still on, and actually, that's our next discussion if we have no further discussion.
I do have something here.
Sure.
And it was just at this meeting yesterday that they put on at AMC. They were talking about buses and the problems with having to have a CDL to run these buses and whatnot, and brought up that, use a van. But then one of the counties brought up that they said, well, we use buses, but is it weight or passenger? That's still a bus.
Yep, and that's, remember the last bus that we ordered, excuse me, not the last one, the one before that, we have one non-CDL buses, and everything going forward will be that, just because it's getting harder to find staff
Talking
that,
about getting the CDL start to finish is about $1,200.
yeah,
So
it's very expensive.
now you don't have that expense at all. So.
Right. Yep. So everything going forward, even with the Herman Express, it's just actually from a 15 passenger to, 15 is allowable because that's what our van at the Human Services that you bought can haul. So 15 and under is no CDL. So, but 16 and over is. So
And that's what those other buses were.
that's what, right. Yep. With the wheelchair positions and. I don't think, Sarah, you don't think that just having 2 or 3 less passengers on the Herman Express bus would make any difference, do you, as far as to capacity? I mean, have you seen that you've had every seat full
Twice.
twice?
Twice.
Okay.
But-
But yeah, so it's not very often, and I think we could, and you can stand in a bus. I mean, Brown County has the policy, we need to be seat belted, so we may have to relax that. But it is not against Minnesota law to stand on a bus. You can, because they have the grab rails. So for a short while, we'd have to change policy about the seatbelt requirement. If we get to that point. But it is not against the law to stand on a bus.
Are propane buses then, or no CDL?
We'll make those that'll be our choice. Yep, so we will do the same for that. That's what I'm kind of suggesting here, that we may have to relax that seatbelt rule that Brown County has in place, that all passengers have to be seatbelted. But, yeah. Yeah, that's definitely, I think, Commissioner, I remember when I first started, you were a big proponent of why are we getting these big buses when we don't need them? Let's get something smaller so this is kind of moving in that direction. So you had the foresight years ago and we didn't follow your directions, so.
Right, got there.
It got a lot more difficult to get a CDL because now you have to have this entry-level driver training that just makes it almost,
And the value of the bus should be greater to trade.
To
in and
resell.
Get rid of to resell because
Right.
you don't have
church
that
groups
CDL
can
there.
buy it, and yep. Yeah, I remember we had actually sold one of our buses to a church group in Wisconsin, and when they found out, they thought they could just take a seat out. But if the bus was manufactured, that it has that you have to have a class, to drive the bus, taking a seat out doesn't matter. So as long as it was manufactured
Love
that
the
way.
creativity, though.
So they actually end up backing out because the church couldn't.
Creative.
So, yeah. Any other discussion about anything? Go ahead. Ben.
For over a year now, we've been working with routing software application companies. Our routing app that we use is called Route Match. We've had it since 2011. Price continues to go up. Their customer service is not the best. There's other options out there now, newer, cheaper, more aimed at Herman, where we could have a mode for the door-to-door Heartland buses and have a separate screen for Herman that would make life easier for the driver and eliminate all the button pushing needed to have a fixed route ability on the tablet in there. So Heartland and Herman with Sarah and our dispatchers, we're currently shopping for a new routing app that just user-friendly. It's another technology grant through MnDOT Transit. So we got till the end of '26. We've had online meetings, in-person meetings with multiple different options. So we're gonna put another RFP out and see if we can attract some more attention.
Yeah, because right now it's very cumbersome when the drivers use the route match system we have right now, because we just kind of made it to work for us. We didn't want to buy the extra program. So Sarah and her group are having to push multiple buttons each time they make a pickup or a drop, or actually every stop, correct? Which we're hoping will eliminate a lot of that, so, with the new software, so. Thanks for bringing that up, Nate.
And that's paid for by MnDOT?
So we'll be responsible for the 20%, but, it'll be a small percentage, of the cost, so. I think the grant goes up to $60,000, and we haven't seen anything with that price tag yet, so it won't be that much, so.
That grant also would include new tablets and tablet holders in the buses.
Which are,
2 to 3
Needed.
years out of them before they start to fade.
yeah. Yeah, for sure. Any other discussion?
Well, I've been on our buses quite a bit, not the Heartland.
No, not the Herman?
no.
Filling the vacancy for the following members, the city has a person that we need to have as a city representative, and we need someone for the county representative. Our person, her work schedule changed, so she is not able to be on the commission anymore. And I think that you guys had Michelle, and she bowed out about a year ago, it looks like. So just wondering how we want to move forward with that, if the city wants to take care of finding somebody to be on the commission, or maybe we could visit with Sarah about some riders. That maybe would be someone we could approach. We can maybe talk about that, Sarah, about, we could fill two birds with one stone with two different folks that are frequent riders of the bus, or, because I think sometimes we're missing that piece.
I do always like hearing input from a rider.
Right.
We had that in the past, or just citizen.
Yeah. So we'll kind of work on that, and then we'll bring that before, hopefully we get that somebody talked to and on the board or on the commission for the next meeting in June. So, if there's any other discussion, setting our next meeting date for June 3rd, 10th, or 17th. They're all the same dates, same Wednesdays, same 12 o'clock. So
So what's the date?
the 3rd,
Yeah.
the 10th, or the 17th.
Which one of those?
Okay.
I think, I don't really have a preference.
Yeah, I didn't either.
No preference.
Okay.
What day of the week is it?
They're always
Days.
Wednesdays.
Wednesdays?
Wednesdays at noon.
Okay. Here.
Yeah.
I don't.
If we go with the 10th, it'll be exactly 6 months from now. so-
Perfect.
That sounds great.
Until
It's
Be a
much
lot
easier
warmer
on
then.
your note taker too.
What's that?
It's one less thing I have to change my meeting minutes to.
Wednesday.
So Wednesday, June 10th at noon here in the City Chamber office.
January.
What's that?
June.
Additional
June. June.
January meeting regarding LP tank place.
That'll be at the Brown County Commissioners.
Okay.
So,
subject of the benches on,
yeah, we'll discuss that at the end of when we get down here, because we've discussed that, and Sarah can go over that with you, Tom,
okay,
if that's okay.
that's where I get the most questions.
Sounds good. Any other discussion? Otherwise, we'll call the meeting adjourned. Do I have a first and second?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion adjourned.
Thank you.
So, Sarah, do you want to